Let's talk about the filth that's starting to come out in the early days of the Diddy trial. This, of course, is P. Diddy. Surprise, surprise, he's a creep. Surprise, surprise, he's done horrible things.
Today in a New York federal courtroom, Sean Diddy Combs told the judge he was, quote, a little nervous. The rap mogul's criminal trial began this morning. He is trafficking, racketeering, and more.
Because we now know who all the prosecutors will be on Diddy's trial. They're all women. They have assembled a team of female prosecutors, and that is definitely not by accident.
So Diddy, after the Cassie lawsuit, gets hit with a bunch of lawsuits, and then ultimately the raids, and then this criminal case.
Two women who said that they had been abused, saying it happened decades ago, and they thought that they could look at the evidence in this case, which is about assault, and view it fair and unbiased based on what comes into the courtroom. And one woman who is proceeding said she was arrested when she was 16 for shoplifting at Harry Potter's World at Universal Studios. The judge asked her what she stole. She said it was a wand.
Welcome back. Let's spill the tea on today's biggest celebrity stories. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to get your daily dose of scandal and glamour. From flashing cameras on Hollywood carpets to explosive courtroom drama, the Combs family saga has turned into pure chaos. Behind all those fake smiles and designer fits hides a story so twisted it could burn down an entire legacy. What started as quiet rumors is now a full-blown legal nightmare. And the drama, it's hitting hard. The public can't believe what they're hearing. Right at the center of it all, Sean Diddy Combs and his son, Christian. But let's be clear, this ain't just some civil lawsuit. This is betrayal on a whole other level. A once glamorous family is now crumbling under secrets so heavy they're tearing everything apart, and it's just getting started. The accusations against Christian Combs, Wild doesn't even cover it. People were stunned when Grace O'Mark, a young stewardess trying to make it in the world, came forward and dropped a bombshell. Her story pulled back the curtain on what really went down during a luxury yacht trip in December 2022. And it wasn't all champagne and sunshine. What she described turned the whole situation on its head. This wasn't some innocent getaway. It was the start of something dark. Now the spotlight's burning, the questions are growing, and one thing's for sure. The truth is about to get real ugly. Brace yourself, because this scandal is just heating up. What was supposed to be a chill, family-style holiday turned into straight-up chaos, a wild mess of partying, blurred lines, and scandal that no one saw coming. Omar K didn't just hint at drama, she dropped a bomb. According to her, Diddy himself booked the flashy yacht, but what happened on that boat was anything but luxury. She claims Christian pressured her to drink what she later believed was spiked tequila, and from there, it all spiraled into a nightmare. The most disturbing part? What allegedly went down in a hidden recording studio on board. And yeah, there's audio that backs up every sick detail of her story. This ain't just some petty accusation. This is the kind of scandal that could torch Christian's whole rep and drag the entire Combs legacy down with it. Christian's lawyers are already out here calling it nonsense, trying to kill the noise before it spreads. But the claims are way too heavy to just brush off. Word is, the yacht was a non-stop carousel of celebs, shady scenes, and zero boundaries. And the vibe? Nothing but ego and indulgence. Grace O'Mark says that one single night wrecked everything. Her career, her mental health, and even her long-term relationship. She's not just speaking up, she's exposing a side of fame nobody wants to talk about. And now, the storm's getting too big to control. But here's the real twist. This ain't just about Christian. Rumors are flying that things between him and Diddy have been tense for a long time. That perfect father-son image, it's cracking fast. And what's coming next might tear it apart completely. Word on the street, this family ain't just falling apart. It's eating itself from the inside out. Insiders are spilling tea that Christian might actually flip and testify against his own father just to save himself. That's right, turning on the man who built his entire world. If that's true, then the Combs dynasty might never recover from this. Think about it. One move, and Christian either goes down hard or drags his own father with him. It's a lose-lose with everything on the line. Could he really betray Diddy like that? Or is this just desperate talk now that the walls are closing in? Either way, one thing's clear. The pressure is building fast, and something's about to break. But don't get it twisted. This ain't just about Christian facing charges. We're starting to see the full picture of a spoiled life with no limits. And Omar Kai's claims? They're next level disturbing. She says Christian didn't just pressure her to drink. He allegedly groped her and tried to force himself on her inside the yacht's cinema room. That's not party behavior. That's predatory. And then there's the audio, the actual recordings of Omar's voice, trembling but firm, telling Christian to stop, again and again, while his alleged actions play out in the background. These tapes weren't caught by accident either. They were recorded by a producer in a makeshift studio on board. Now they've become explosive evidence in this spiraling case. This isn't just about one guy messing up. It's about a whole culture of unchecked power, privilege, and zero consequences that allegedly surrounded the Combs family like a shield. But now, that shield is cracking, and the truth is slipping through fast. But where does Sean Diddy Combs really stand in all this madness? The accusations against his son Christian aren't just a separate scandal. They're tangled up deep in the same twisted mess that's now threatening to rip their whole legacy apart. Diddy's been one of the most dominant forces in the game for decades. Fame, money, power, all built off charm and hustle. But now, that empire's shaking. The shine's fading fast as dark truths start bubbling to the surface. From federal investigations into human trafficking, to lawsuits painting him as a man with a history of control and abuse, Diddy's reputation is bleeding from every angle. And now, Grace O'Marquez's lawsuit has officially named him as a co-defendant. She's not just accusing Christian. She's saying Diddy helped create the exact environment that allowed the alleged assault to even happen. That's not just bad optics. That's legacy destroying. So here's the real question. Is Diddy just a father getting caught in his son's mess? Or is he the mastermind behind a much darker lifestyle that's been spiraling out of control for years? People are noticing. Critics are connecting the dots, saying Christian's alleged actions look a lot like the same accusations Diddy's been dodging for years. Is this a pattern passed down, like a twisted family tradition? The public's starting to think so. And now that polished, powerful family front is cracking fast. As courtroom battles heat up and secrets leak out, everyone's asking, who's gonna make it out of this alive? Or are they all going down together in the collapse of a dynasty? The Combs name has always screamed money, status, and raw power. But now, that polished image is cracking wide open. As these allegations keep piling up, the world's seeing a whole different side to the glitz, and it's dark, real dark. Cameras are rolling, headlines are screaming, and one thing's clear, this story ain't close to over. What's coming next? It's bound to shake the industry even harder. Just when folks thought the heat on Christian Combs might be enough to wreck the whole family empire, boom, another bombshell drops, and this one's hitting straight at Diddy himself. Enter Cassie, Diddy's ex-girlfriend and former protege. Her decision to finally speak out, it's got the whole entertainment world shook. People suspected Diddy had secrets, but Cassie's testimony is confirmation with fire. Her words didn't just accuse him of abuse, they exposed a whole system built on fear, silence, and twisted control. This ain't just drama, it's deep. Cassie painted a picture of a man who ruled both his home and his empire like a king with no limits. She described a toxic culture of manipulation, pressure, and silence. One where people were too scared to speak, too broken to fight back. And when she spoke in court, it hit like a hammer. Her words weren't just brave, they were haunting. And now, Diddy's world is teetering on the edge, and Cassie might just be the one to push it over. Cassie didn't hold back. In court, she laid it all out. A decade locked in what she called a nightmare cycle of control and emotional destruction. Her story wasn't just about a bad relationship, it was about surviving a man obsessed with dominance. She described Diddy as someone who allegedly used fear, threats, violence, and humiliation like weapons, all to keep people under his thumb. I feared for my career. I feared for my family. It's just embarrassing. It's horrible and disgusting. No one should do that to anyone, Cassie reportedly told the courtroom. Her voice was steady, but you could feel the pain behind every word. And while some might think her testimony only speaks to her personal trauma, it goes way deeper than that. Cassie's truth might just explain the why behind Christian's alleged behavior. Because when a kid grows up watching control and abuse get rewarded, what message does that send? Was Christian raised in a home where fear was normal, where silence was expected, where power came before respect? People are starting to connect the dots, and the picture it's painting ain't pretty. And then you've got Diddy's own legal mess. The feds are circling. A federal investigation into human trafficking is already tearing through his empire, with raids hitting his mansions in both LA and Miami. And what's coming out? It's straight up terrifying. Authorities say they've uncovered signs of a criminal network operating behind the scenes of Diddy's flashy lifestyle, one that might have been hiding in plain sight all along. Now the question is, how far does it really go? And who else was part of it? Investigators are turning up the heat, and what they're digging into paints a dirty picture. They say Diddy used his power to throw wild parties that were way more than just A-list hangouts. We're talking about claims of coercion, illegal substances, and exploitation, the kind of stuff that doesn't just ruin reputations, it ruins lives. Diddy's pushing back hard, calling the accusations sickening and completely made up. But here's the thing, the evidence just keeps stacking up, and Grace O'Mark ain't standing alone. Over the last year, more and more voices from Diddy's inner circle have stepped forward. And the stories? They're all hitting the same disturbing notes. One of the most explosive claims came from former producer Rodney "Loro" Jones, and what he said shocked everyone. Jones revealed he was forced to record hours of footage that allegedly captured criminal behavior, stuff so dark, he didn't even want to hold the camera. He says he stayed silent out of fear. Retaliation wasn't just a threat, it was real. His words now add serious weight to the case, showing this wasn't just a few out-of-control nights. This was a system, and it gets worse. Another former employee, who once worked inside one of Diddy's massive estates, has come forward too, and their story, just as haunting. What they saw behind those mansion gates adds even more fuel to a scandal that's already spiraling. This ain't just coincidence anymore. It's looking like a pattern, a planned one. And if it all holds up, Diddy might be facing something way bigger than a reputation hit. One former employee just dropped another chilling piece of the puzzle. She says she was pressured into signing an NDA after witnessing what she called straight-up unimaginable behavior at Diddy's private parties. The kind of stuff that doesn't belong anywhere near flashing lights and red carpets. She hasn't revealed the full story yet, but her legal team's hinting that what they've got could blow this case wide open. And they're not just targeting Diddy. They're coming for the entire machine. Her lawyer put it plain and clear. This is about a system that let this go on for years without consequences. But it doesn't stop there. Another woman, this one a former assistant inside one of Diddy's companies, came forward with a lawsuit that's straight up damning. She claims she faced verbal abuse, manipulation, and unwanted advances while just trying to do her job. According to her, the workplace was toxic from top to bottom, a space where fear ruled, and speaking up meant getting crushed. She's not just throwing out claims, she came with receipts. Her lawsuit includes text messages and emails that could become key evidence if proven legit. And if those messages check out, Diddy could be in even deeper trouble than anyone expected. These aren't random stories. They're lining up with the same pattern of control, silence, and abuse of power. The walls are closing in, and now the world's starting to see what's really been hiding behind the spotlight. Now let's talk about Rodney Jones, the music producer who's no longer staying silent. His story? Straight up terrifying. Jones claims he wasn't just dragged into Diddy's circle, he was coerced, forced to work under him while witnessing things he says he'll never be able to unsee. According to Jones, he was made to be present during what he described as deeply inappropriate encounters. And worse, he was ordered to record them. Audio, video, all done in secret, without the people involved even knowing they were being watched. That's not just shady, that's sinister. His lawsuit paints a chilling picture, a workplace drowning in paranoia. Diddy allegedly had full-on security teams tracking his staff, making sure nobody stepped out of line or opened their mouths. It was like living under constant surveillance, Jones said in a recent interview. No freedom, no privacy, just fear. And as more alleged victims come forward, this case is growing fast. Each testimony adds another disturbing piece to a puzzle that's looking more like a horror story than a music empire. Jones isn't alone anymore. Others are stepping out of the shadows, and the stories are getting darker. Diddy's legal team is still fighting back, calling everything a smear campaign. But with each new voice, each NDA-breaking confession, that defense is starting to crumble. These are voices that were buried in silence for years, and now they're coming out loud, raw, and demanding justice. This isn't just about fame anymore. It's about holding power accountable. On the surface, the Combs family is putting on a united front, but is it all just a show? Scroll through social media, and you'll see Diddy's kids standing tall by his side, posting emotional tributes, old family photos, and messages like, "We stand united, supporting you every step of the way." It looks tight-knit, it looks loyal, But insiders say that glossy image might be a whole performance, carefully staged to keep the public distracted from the chaos exploding behind the scenes. Because according to people close to the situation, that unity, it's falling apart fast. Tensions are flaring, trust is cracking, and the Combs household is under serious pressure. With the scandals snowballing, it's not just about protecting their father anymore, it's about survival. And let's not forget, Diddy's not just a music mogul. He's a brand, Bad Boy Records, fashion empires, liquor lines. For years, everything he touched turned to gold. But now, that gold's starting to rot. The deeper these accusations dig in, the more his empire starts to wobble. Word on the street is that big-name sponsors are backing away. Fast. Deals are stalling. Investors are watching closely. The name Diddy used to mean money, power, and style. But now, it's raising questions nobody wants attached to their business. So here's the real question. Is this just a storm he'll weather like every time before? Or are we witnessing the fall of one of the most influential moguls in the game? Because if the empire keeps crumbling, this might be the end of Diddy's reign. So what does all this mean for the future of the Combs family, especially Christian, who's now drowning in his own legal storm? With his trial creeping closer, the pressure on Christian is reaching a boiling point. And now, whispers are flying that he might be considering the unthinkable, cutting a plea deal that includes testifying against his own father. That's right, flipping on Diddy to save himself. It would be a betrayal so massive, it'd shake the entire entertainment world to its core. But is Christian really willing to take that step? Could he turn on the man who shaped his life, his mentor, his idol? Or will he cling to loyalty and risk going down in flames? Either choice is a gamble with everything on the line. Freedom, family, legacy. And if Christian does take the stand, it could blow the roof off this entire case. What secrets might he spill? What proof could he drop? The idea of Diddy's own son laying it all bare in court is sending shivers through the industry, because no one knows what he's been holding back. Most of all, what would it do to the family? For years, the Combs clan has pushed the image of being close, unbreakable, always united. But this trial, it's cracking that facade wide open. And if Christian turns, it might be the move that rips the whole family apart for good. Looking at the bigger picture, this ain't just a family drama, it's a mirror to the entire entertainment industry. From the Now Me Too movement to the endless headlines about power abuse in Hollywood, the accusations against Diddy and Christian are part of a deeper reckoning. A reckoning that's forcing everyone to ask, when will the powerful finally be held accountable? Will this trial actually make history, finally proving that even the untouchable can fall? Or will it be yet another case where the rich walk free, leaving victims crushed in the dust? For Grace O'Mark and others who've come forward, this case is more than just legal proceedings. It's a shot at justice, a chance to break free from the silence, reclaim their truth, and finally be heard. They're risking everything to expose what's been hiding behind the spotlight for far too long. For Christian, it's a fight for his freedom and whatever's left of his name. And for Diddy, this is legacy-level stuff. His entire empire, from the music to the fashion to the fame, is on the line. One wrong move, one damning testimony, and it could all come crashing down. And if Christian does decide to testify, that move alone could shatter everything, unleashing secrets the world isn't ready for. So now we wait. More revelations are bound to drop. More twists are coming. But the biggest question still hangs heavy. Will justice finally be served, or will power win again? And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to stay in the loop with all the latest tea. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update, and I'll catch you in the next video.